Okay, so in this video, I'm going to walk you through generally what I suggest you do as far as setting up a folder. It doesn't matter if you're using OneDrive or Google Drive or something else. You could use other cloud services as long as you follow the setting up of the permissions, but I'm going to be specific on these two to give you that. And then also, if you wanted to share this particular assignment, actually that should be 3, on YouTube, I've given you a link to do that as well, and I've shown you how to do an unlisted URL. So you can use whichever method as far as cloud goes that you want. So I'm already logged in to my OneDrive, and my OneDrive and your OneDrive pretty much the same as far as the way and the functionality that you have. I also have open Google Drive that I'll come back to in a minute because the setup is generally the same, and here's what I recommend just to make this a little easier. Is I recommend in my OneDrive is I'd set up a folder, and I would call that folder the course name. Now you could also, and sometimes I will do this, as I will put in the semester and the year. It's really up to you if you want to do that. You could also just leave it like that. Again, I'm not ever going to see the folder name. Well, I might, but it doesn't really matter. The key is just to be consistent. So I'm going to be consistent with how I name things for those of you that have taken my classes before. You know this is true. Now, once you create it, you now have that new folder. And so here's what you're going to do is on that folder, when you're in OneDrive, you will see, if you just roll your mouse over it, a sharing option. And for OneDrive, this requires a few more steps, because what you're going to end up doing is sharing the folder, and then anything you put in the folder, theoretically and permissions wise, should then adopt those permissions. That way you don't have to do it on every file. But I'm also going to give you a method for checking to see that it is shared correctly, because one of the things that you want to do is make sure when you're sharing things that anyone can view them, and you don't necessarily want to force them to be logged in, right? But you're controlling who has access in this sense by who has the URL. By the way, after this course, you're welcome to get rid of these folders. All right, so what I do here is I would go over to my share options. In my share, and this is on OneDrive, it's a little different on Google Drive, and I'll show you that. Now here, what you want to do is find the gear, the gear icon, and it says sharing settings. Click any one, okay? And then you can also, and I do for sure, can only view, right? And you can even set a date this no longer is true. I'm not going to for this example, right? You can block downloads. I actually recommend doing that, to where, that might be helpful. That way people can view but not download the files. I think that can be helpful at times. I think that should be fine for opening them. I actually haven't tested that, so hopefully that's good, right? So in other words, these are the different ways, but we're going to do it to where anyone can have them. And I want you to know that going in. Important to understand what we're doing here. So I'm going to apply that. Right? Now at this point, right, I've already done it, but I like to go back and just make sure, yep, that's how I wanted it. And now what I can do is just copy the link. Okay, now I'm going to show you actually how to do a specific link for your particular document type. But this case, all we're doing, and I'm going to go ahead and get out. Right now I have this set up. I have it set up as shared. Right, so if I clicked into it here, there's nothing in there yet. Now one of the things I like to do, and if you saw this back here, right, when we were in here, you could also copy that link. Okay, so I could copy the link. Oh, I guess I have to do that again. Oh, OneDrive. Let's try that again. So I'm going to go here. Oh yeah, I guess I do have to. Okay, so I should have done this when I was in here before, but you're going to see how this operates in a minute as far as acquiring the URL. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to do this again. I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to copy. Now you'll see why I'm going to copy that in a minute, and I'll go ahead and get out. All right, so what I'm going to do, and this is in Chrome, but you can do this in any browser. If you come over, there's a place, if you haven't seen it, I'm not sure why it's not looking here. There we go. And you're going to do what's called, for Chrome, it's incognito. I don't remember what it is for the other browsers, but you can just find a place that opens up a new tab, and that tab is not logged in, right? And in this case, it tells you, right? And so now why am I doing that? I'm going to paste in that link. Okay, so now what this shows, and this is good, is it shows I shared it correctly. And how do I know? Well, I'm not logged in. Okay, it shows me who the folder was, who created it, but I'm actually not logged in any way to, so if I went here, it shows me the folder, it backs up one, so that's the folder open. All right, so now let's actually, and by the way, let's just show you because I think it's good. I'm going to leave this open, come back here. On Google Drive, I've already created the folder. It's something similar. I think it's a little easier, but you do share, and then you do go into share. And in this case, I'm going to select anyone with the link, right, as a viewer, and then you can copy the link. I actually think Google Drive works better here. Again, I could bring this up in a link and it would operate almost identical to OneDrive as far as when you have it. Perfect, let's go ahead and do that just so we can have both and be consistent. So I'm going to come back to my incognito. I'm going to open another tab just so we can go back and forth. So now I have the folder open. Oh, I must have had some examples files in there already. It doesn't matter. Okay. So now I have my two folders. So now I'm ready to actually do some work for this class. And in this case, the work you're doing is the video. The reason I'm specific in this one is that you're going to use this same process for other Word documents and presentations that you're going to do through the course. Okay? So now what I want to do, we've already done this step, right? So now we're going to upload your introduction video. But again, other documents created for this course, this part is going to work the same. All right, so I'm going to go back to OneDrive. I'm going to bring over, because I'm on a Mac, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to bring over my Finder for Windows. It's your file manager. There's my file. I'm going to go into this folder, okay? Bring that back. And here's a couple ways. You could use the upload here if you want. I'm just going to drag it over, okay? There it goes. Okay, so now it's uploaded. So now what I want to do, now that I know it's uploaded, I'm going to move back to my incognito, which I know is here, right? If I hit refresh here, I can see that there's a new file. And now what I can do is just open it, okay? And that's the video file, right? That's the video file. So now what you can do is grab this URL, right? So now we are grabbing a URL that is specific to this file. And again, this might be a Word file, this might be a PowerPoint, doesn't matter, you're doing it the same way. So now I'm going to go back to here, okay, and in Canvas, I'm going to scroll down here, and in your reply, right, there's a couple ways you could do this, right? My video link, you could put whatever you want here. This part doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is select whatever you type and then find the icon for the little link icon. Okay, so then we're going to do external link, and this is where we're going to paste in that long URL. Okay, cool. All right, so now this is what I would term a more friendly link, okay? Because this is not, oh, actually that's the Google Drive one, but it's the same concept. It's not what I would call a friendly link, okay? So let's go ahead, now that we've said that, and do the same thing for the Google Drive, right? So on Google Drive, you saw I already had some things on there, so it doesn't really matter. So let's go back in here, and then I could pull up one of these documents, right? Cool. And I could do the same thing. Now, Google actually gives you other ways, like you could get a URL specific. In this case, I'm trying to remember, I haven't done that in a little while, but I think I can just grab that URL right here. Come back to here, and then I would say my Google Drive example. Again, I'm just giving you examples. I could have put my OneDrive example there. Cool. So again, I'm just giving you the two most common ones that you might use, and notice when you click here, you do have options to where you could remove or you could update those link options as well. Okay. All right, so let's go back up here and just review, because what we've done is we've uploaded it, right? I've shown you how to get the link, right? And by the way, this is also called a URL. I've shown you how to create the link in Canvas that is user-friendly. I do mark off if you don't do the user-friendly, so make sure you get that. And this is the video you're watching. So let's actually go down here. Right, I'll go ahead and by the way, you have other writing you need to do. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hit post. And then just to make sure also, once you've provided these links, that they actually do open. Okay, so that's not a great example. Now why, and actually maybe I did that on purpose, but I really didn't. What you really want to do is give a link to the file. So let's actually look at the other one. It's a better example. Oh, I didn't do that one. Oh, that's good. So actually now I'm going to show you how to modify it because I didn't give you the right link. Now how do I know that? I'm rolling over these links and I'm seeing, for some reason, it must have been in my copy and paste that it was grabbing the Google one. So let's actually go back to here and I'm going to select that. And this is really good to know how to go in and modify things once you've posted them in Canvas. So I don't actually mind that this was not shown exactly right, because things don't always happen right. So what I'd do is on my post, I'd hit edit, and in here I could hit link options. Oh yeah, I see that Google Drive. I didn't pay attention. I should have. It was so long. That one looks much better. And it looks like, so now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it's giving me, well, let's see. I think it actually is giving me the file, but let's see. Okay, I was just looking at this long URL. It looks like it was looking at the, anyway, we'll see. Hit done. Go down here, right, and hit done. And now let's see if, good, now that worked. Okay, so I've shown you a couple things in this video. I've shown you how to create directories on whatever cloud service you use. I've shown you how to set permissions on those files so that anybody can view the file. At this point, I've showed you how to upload into, I didn't actually show you on Google Drive, but it's a similar concept where on Google Drive you just hit add. Actually, this is the same concept where you can just drag, or you can do this where you do file upload as well. Okay, so then I walked you through how to create a link in Canvas that is friendly. So I showed you a couple things in this video. So now what you can do is figure out which service you're going to use, right? Or if you're going to just use YouTube, you don't have to go through any of this, and there's a video for that. I hope this video helps you out understanding some of the best practices to use for this class.